So we'll be looking at those solutions. All right. So, in that case, welcome everyone to Opus Magnum Tournament 2021 Week 3 results. So I should probably go and introduce the puzzle. I have Biggie Mac 42 beside me.
Hello? That's me.
And, this time I think it did import in alphabetical order. Hey! Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it does this, sometimes it doesn't. I just got a follow. Thank you, Hutobi. And, and also thank you, Chump Change Boy. Alright, so, let's go and introduce this puzzle. Thank you, Kipio Allah. So, here is the product. This is Mist of Dousing. The story behind this is, well, you helped make an improved explosive vial in week 1 of the puzzle, and now you're realizing that it's kind of more destructive than you'd realize, and things are burning down, and people are requesting that you put a stop to all this flames and nonsense because it's doing way too much property damage. So the inspiration of this comes from Mist of Hallucination and what else? There was another one that had a very similar structure where you have 4 air atoms connected in a chain like this, and then you have additional things bonded to that backbone. So that's where the inspiration came from. The reagents to this is water and stabilized air, and there is actually a Burlow's wheel, and this is because technically you can make this out of just like water and stabilized air. One easy configuration is just you put the air here, and then you put air here. You duplicate the water onto those 2 atoms, and then you duplicate this water over here. You duplicate the air onto that, and then you duplicate the air onto this, and that would be like the most straightforward solution. The thing is, if you do that method, you have 2 stabilized airs being used, and you have 1 and you have 1 water being used, and you actually have an extra water every two inputs. And the first metric was Cycle's gold area, and if you wanted to go really, really fast, you had to make use of this extra water somehow. And this is where people start talking about 5-to-7 ratios, because there's 7 atoms in this output, and your inputs come in batches of 5. And yes, it's not terribly easy. The closest multiple of that is 45, which is you have 9 inputs, which just gives you 45 outputs, 45 atoms, and 7 atoms times 6 outputs is 42. So you have 3 atoms free, kind of. Which technically means you only need 8 water outputs if you're using all the air, but people did a lot of different things.
Yeah, I'm curious what the other options are. 8 water and 9 air was the right way as far as I'm concerned, but there are lots of possibilities.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I was also, in terms of just puzzle design things, I was considering not having the Baron wheel, in which case you would have to do all the duplication and calcification with these inputs alone. But because I wanted to give people a little bit of a breather, I decided, here, have a Burlow's wheel, because I don't want to be that cruel. Unfortunately, I messed up for the second... Sorry, what?
The cruelty calibration.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I messed up the second metric, and we'll get to that when we get there. No
So
wheel isn't that cruel. It's not too cruel, but to make
it'll
it,
make latency a lot more obnoxious at the really bad solutions.
yeah. Um, Hutobi only sent in one solution, and that is a gold cycles solution. So I'm gonna skip that one for now. So after that is Steven, because of course. This one doesn't even fit in my screen. Alright. Congratulations, Steven. Unfortunately, you don't actually have last place for CGA because someone else's GCA was a little bit slower. That's okay though.
The clean 5000 and the gorgeous piston loop over there.
I can never follow these things because I never know when something's going to do something incredibly stupid.
Well, I mean, it's already only pivoting. And
Well,
it's creating
yes,
a stick using pivots only.
but
And
what
I'm
is this water doing? Is it just carving out massive area to make it a slideshow?
just creating an area. Yeah, I think we want. Oh wait, there's fire coming on the right.
Okay, I need to go and start from the beginning because I need to actually take a look at what's up here now.
We're putting fire on the waterway.
Yeah. Okay, so this is building a zigzag chain thing. And then what is it doing?
It's performing art. Go on.
Okay, that was an output. And it's...
It is an output with 3 wastes, and those 3 wastes become a fire triangle.
Not always, though. Because this thing is just constantly spinning.
10 atoms go up to the top, and the rest becomes waste of all the different colors. You're right.
Apparently... Oh, okay, yeah. The next one should be Earth, then. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately it finishes before that. Steven actually sent me a even worse solution, which, let's not get into it. Long story short, it was making, like, all of the campaign outputs one by one.
I think that idea. I feel bad.
Anyway. Yeah, Steven, you can post that into the Discord if you want to. Yeah, not all of them, but close enough. Alright, coming up next is Cold Spaghetti. Okay.
Where's the air? Way over on the left.
Yes, so it's making this. It's making the backbone with 2 stabilized airs, and it's splitting one of the waters to make 3, and it's assembling it like that. So
it's only duplication within the inputs that it grabs. It's not building it and then duplicating after bond.
Yeah. So there's no calcification in this one at all.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's an approach. You can see that it's not running at input speed. It is making one product per loop, and the loop is, let's see, 12 cycles long. Mm-hmm. So it's making a product every 12 cycles, which is going to put it at a limit of just over 72. It's going to be 77, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Voidify. Alright, so we see the Burlow wheel being used to make to put the water onto the stabilized air.
And this one has an 8 cycle loop, so it's going to be closer to 6 times 8 plus some, so a little over 48. The latency is a little worse, so 56. But yeah, so the way to get a guess without even seeing the machine run, how many cycles it takes, is to look at its instruction tape, and this one has 8 cycles on its longest running arm, which is arm 4. Yeah. Arm 4 is going to need to speed up if this is going to run at a faster period.
Biggie is just flexing his cycles prowess at us. Plebs.
This isn't flexing. This is. I get the impression that to see from what I'm seeing will help people. So I'm trying to say what I'm looking at.
Anyway. Yeah, so there's actually two ways of doing this puzzle without doing any debonding. One is you use the water in this configuration, or you can use the water in this configuration. If you use the water in like any other configuration, you'll have like a single atom that will need to be, it needs to be like debonded. So like you can't do that, and you can't do this. So you can do this, or you can do that. All right. Coming up next, after Voidify, is Anime. Ooh. It's a very interesting spin right there.
It's coded all the way out to the end too, which
Oh. That's why.
I'm not entirely sure about it. It also means that it's not. I think it has something that runs ahead of the rest, and not aware of how to desync arms.
It's because Arm 6 is using this as essentially a Burroughs wheel.
It's a catalyst. Oh, you're right. That's the piece I missed.
Yeah, right
so
there.
So there's a catalyst off to the side. That's a way of speeding things up for sure. It brings the throughput up, but it means you have to code all the instructions out yourself.
Mm-hmm. Very neat. All right, coming up next, Topo Mouse. T. Here we go. Yep. So this one is doing the water in the middle.
Yeah, and the period's 7, so we're a little faster. Still
not at input speed, yeah. All right. After Topo Mouse is...
I like that the Burroughs wheel and Topo... Oh, sorry, I was late.
Oh.
I like that it provides both an air and a water. It's good. It spins to the left to provide an air, and then it spins to the right to provide a water.
Right. I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting that I need to stream this to you.
I'm looking at it on the Twitch stream, which is slower, so I'm going to be late.
There you go. You can now go over to Discord.
An improvement in my latency. Thank you.
Yes, I'm hoping I don't drop too many frames. All right.
I hope so too.
After Topo Mouse is F. Cavalierne, who is up here. Ooh, pipelining.
I do like the track loop. Hold on, what is it?
I don't know
it has
what
a little
that
bit of
is.
delay between.
I don't know why there's an extra duplication glyph up here. I don't think that's ever used. Nope.
The forgotten glyphs sacrificed to the days. But also,
man.
I really like the track loop. This is somebody who maybe watched my tutorial and built the track loop.
Yeah. This is doing the 2-to-1 thing, and it's not perfectly using the air at full throughput, is it? Let me check.
No, it has 6 cycles per grab. It looks.
Yeah, there's some delays. I'm not entirely sure why. All right. After F. Cavalierne is Flame Haze. Well, this one is
another one that coded to the end.
Yep. It's got the water at the end approach here, and it's doing, yep, water duplication onto that, and then it's duplicating both airs onto it. All right, we are still not at the top page yet. After that is Andrej K.
So, ooh, wow.
Yeah, this one's a doozy. Here's the inputs. Let's take a look from there.
Yeah, okay. It's running on an 8-cycle loop, but it's building things.
Ah, okay. So this is a full throughput 2-to-1 or
Well, full throughput on the air.
yeah, full throughput on the air, but it's got a lot of latency.
Yeah, so it's actually making an output twice per loop. The tape is 8 cycles long, but output is produced every 4 cycles on average.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to make mirrored pipelines on this puzzle because the input has no symmetry. So you can see like there's one arm that's delivering by sliding and the other is pivot and rotate.
Yeah. I feel like that's gonna become like a hallmark of my puzzles, is that there's like no symmetry.
This is a beast of a solution. It's just a shame for the latency.
Mm-hmm. Coming up next is Kupiala. Gotta love track.
Ooh, yeah. I know that they were very
Ooh.
keen on track loops after watching the tutorial, and so I'm
Look
not
at
surprised that they have quite a few track loops in their cycle solves, but it's a very good track loop. It's so pretty.
look at that swing right there.
Yeah, they're matching the bonded water from the left over to a different spot while rotating. This is a good, pretty solution.
All right.
In terms of input speed, it's still only grabbing the air at input speed, so
Yeah. Latency on this is still a little bit slow because it
yeah.
needs to be it needs to do this debond rebond stuff, and yeah, this thing is also a little bit slow. That's okay.
I would say that the ideal 4 cycles per output solutions, like by the time that they're under 30 cycles, they've really gotten latency low. But above 30 cycles, it's just like they have a pipeline that's good, but the latency is going to kill their score a little.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, sorry everyone, that was my email thing going off. Let me take a look. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've closed that now. It shouldn't occur again.
Someone sending in 5 more solutions.
We're reaching procrastination levels that shouldn't be possible. Alright, coming up next. Monster Racer. Here we go.
More track loops.
Even more track loops, yes. Let me...
And equilibrium for the framing, I imagine?
I don't know. I think it's...
Wait. What's the grab frequency on this? Because it's... Is it dropping every 4 cycles? Okay, yeah. This is the same grab frequency. It's grabbing air every 2 and it's grabbing water every 4 and it's outputting every 4.
Mm-hmm.
It just looked briefly like it might have had a different speed to it.
Okay.
That handoff at the top, though, is quite convoluted to try to get the thing reoriented.
Yeah. That's a little
But
bit
I think
unfortunate.
everything's rooted into one position by the program tool, so that makes some sense.
Yep. Alright. So after Monster Racer is Darius.
Flamehaze in chat remarking on all the different Necrodancer names. Welcome to the second Necrodancer community, Flamehaze.
Alright, let's take a look here. This one is using water at full throughput?
No, it's the same as the others. It's grabbing air every 2.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's once every 4. My mistake.
2 more latency savings versus Monster, and a lot more rotation and a lot less track loops, which does make it a little bit less organized, but it still is doing everything it needs to in the places it needs to do them.
Alright. Coming up next is Username Void. More track loops. And triple arms.
It's almost as if people have a resource to watch that is my tutorial, which says, here's how you do cycles. Let's do that. I like that they're all double arms. It's not good for the gold secondary, but it is a thing that is happening.
The bottom loop?
I think, yeah, the bottom. I think it would add to the period to have 6 arms on the bottom or 6 arms on the top, a different number than 6 on the bottom. And so to make it be only 6 arms, they made sure that it was never having to rotate reset.
Oh, yeah.
This is an out of convenience gold expense.
Yeah, gold is the secondary. I wonder if that would have made a difference.
Is there someone else at 32?
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is. 10, 20,
Oh,
30,
yes.
40, 50. Unfortunately, it would not have made a difference. Oh, well, if you include these, that would cost, I would save another 30 gold. So that's 80. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, that still wouldn't have made a difference.
It'd take a bit of a chasm to get down to 590.
Yeah. Here's our Titans. Ooh.
Not even just loops, unlooped. Backtrack arms. I don't mind those. They work.
Wait, what
They
is...
were featured pretty heavily in week 2.
Wait, hold up. There's 7 arms, but that never makes it to the output. What
Just
is
in
this?
They built 7 outputs because counting to 6 is hard. Oh, wait, no. One is duplicating off of the water of its neighbor.
Oh,
So the
wait.
7th needs to be started for the 6th to finish.
Are you sure?
Yes, the duplicator that's right next to the elbow of the main track.
Oh.
It duplicates
Oh,
the
right
water
there.
out.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
This is employed for Explorer's solve cycles as well, because it's just huge duplication cascade. One of them actually gets its neighbor. It's a cool trick.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Coming up next, JoJo. Okay,
Arms are
yeah.
allowed to rotate counterclockwise as well. Is this just a style solution? Oh,
Alright.
although they are going max throughput. They are putting something up the top, which is made of all the other waters that aren't used.
Yeah, what the heck is going on?
So yeah, when you're taking 1 water and 2 airs every 4 cycles, that second water can be put to use, and they're making a 9-atom kludge of a thing that contains the output, and they're breaking off the 2 atoms that are waste before they put it into the output. Yep. This is what is known as an odd one out solution. There's a main pipeline, and then there's a second pipeline doing 1 output before the solution finishes to speed things up.
Very cool. I think this is our first odd one out pipeline. Yeah, so
this is the first odd one out we've seen.
Yeah, so yeah, for a long story short, there's 5 outputs that are being made through this pipeline here, and then there's an extra one that's being generated over here. Yeah, latency did kill this. So if you look at just this part, it's making outputs using the 2 water plus 1, or sorry, 2 air plus 1 water thing that's going on right here, and it's making the output like that. And then with all the extra water outputs, they're putting it over here and they're making it an extra output.
Because it's 7 atoms in the output, and you get water 3 at a time. So you got 3 waters, that's 9. That's more than enough, and you use the extra bit as a handle. So yeah, it speeds up the process by 4 cycles. I think without the odd one out pipeline, JoJo would have 35, but because the odd one out exists, it's sped up to 31.
Coming up next, RPO, better garbage.
Hey, nice. RPO had been working on a really high effort solve for quite a while. With max throughput, but also really horrible latency. And at the advice of the Discord, decided to put together a not max throughput solution just to see if it would be faster, and it was. So this is another 2 air and 1 water. This was called the 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7 solve. Because like you add numbers up until you can hit 7.
Yep. Coming up next, Nurture MN. Here we go. Oh boy.
Sprawling.
Inputs are at the sides. Alright, let's take a
I would
look.
have to imagine this one has really good throughput if it has this much distance to cover, because that's going to hurt the latency. Has to make up for it somehow. This looks like someone has built precog solutions in SpaceChem before and knows that you're just supposed to make 6 things. Just might as well know what's coming and build it everywhere. Right, yeah. This approach reminds me of
Yeah,
Ginyu's approach.
precog
It's all the cycles
solutions. Yeah, so this one is also doing an odd one out, but the odd one out is up
like
here, I think.
Odd 6. Like,
is it odd 6?
Seems like most of these outputs are being made in a different station. It's like 1 station per output. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes math that happened to get this one to allocate its atoms to the right stations.
Yeah, it might have been, actually. Yeah.
I'm curious, even, like, is there a debonder? There is off on the far right.
There's one here.
Yeah, okay, that debonder is allowing things to share a little better. This is an impressive construction. It has not the best latency, but it's attempting to be high throughput, and that is a big set. That sets it apart from the 2+2+3s. Unfortunately, because it's slower than 27, it doesn't set it completely apart. But it's a very cool approach.
Indeed. All right, after Nurture, Spect98 sent me a solution pretty close to the deadline. This is a very small solution.
They're using a catalyst as well. And what is the purpose of pulling that air? It's to get it out of the way.
Yes.
That is an approach.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, you can pull through the input if the input is being moved.
Oh, and
it doesn't.
It's hard coded out to the end. I don't know. You probably could have been able to. Oh, I see why. It's because this wheel has an initialization loop.
Exactly.
Yeah, because ARM2 has to grab this. Yeah.
I think looking at all the places where the duplication needed to happen and they were spread out slightly wider than a Burlow wheel could hit, Specs decided 1 catalyst is all I need, and then the rest is going to be running at a pretty efficient loop if this was at 29 cycles. Or is this 30?
30? Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Still.
Alright, coming up next, Kirisaki Kyoko. Alright. It's another complicated machine.
It does have a 6-cycle loop. I'm wondering how often it grabs its inputs. It's grabbing everything that's available. It's grabbing water and air every 2 cycles.
I'm going to take a look at this bottom pipeline a little bit more closely. So this is doing 2+2+3. Yeah.
Yeah, the bottom pipeline's getting the normal amount of stuff every 6 cycles, which leaves
the top pipeline
8 for the top. So 1 waste atom is going to be generated at the top. And yeah, 14 is carrying the waste atom away.
Yeah, it's making the waste chain up there.
So this is what RP0 was trying to make. It said something like 7 out of the bottom and 8 up to the top. And 1 waste.
Mm-hmm.
So this works. It lets you move at input speed, and it takes 6 cycles to make 2 output. That's a good throughput. It's almost as fast as optimal throughput. Clearly it's not perfect because of the waste, but this can run at throughput, which is... It means it'll run forever and keep producing an output twice every 6 cycles, which is good.
Alright, coming up next, Chickens in the Attic.
Hey, 2+2+3 with pretty good latency.
Indeed. Let's see
I
where
love when
the...
things disappear from the screen fast enough that you don't even really get to see what they do unless you tab one cycle at a time. That's when you know your latency is pretty good. It's already off the screen.
Yeah. So it's doing a it's pulling the elemental, or sorry, not the elemental, the stabilized air at full speed, and it's doing this every 4, and it's using the Burlow wheel so that it can debond and duplicate at the exact same time.
It's
Yeah.
about the same approach as Cold Spaghetti used, except a little bit better latency from the Burlow's wheel and a lot better latency with the handling and at throughput. It's not using any calcifier. The water is always being made into water atoms, and the air is always being made into air atoms.
Indeed. Alright, coming up next, Madmaster 5000. Very, very compact. Or cheap, I guess?
This is looking like my first solution. It bonds everything together and does duplication with the wholly bonded piece while it spins to output. This approach is, I think, a really clean way to get to 27-ish cycles. There's a little extra latency with the 2 slide cycles that aren't doing as much in parallel as it could be. But yeah, this is a really clean approach.
All right. Coming up next, Winter 1703. Looks like this one's pretty similar.
It is using a 1 latency on its... It's doing the minimum latency, so what makes it slow? Can I see it from the very beginning again?
Sure.
It's not grabbing the air until cycle 3. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah, the air is being put directly into the L=1 position where the left, the salt is duplicating off of water, and the right is bonding to the thing that is otherwise complete. So this is L=1, except it's not grabbing air until cycle 3, so it's losing 2 cycles versus the theory L=1. It's a 28, but it's a 26 that didn't manage to get the air or get the water ready fast enough.
That is unfortunate.
It's still a very cool approach.
Yeah.
You can odd 2 out that one a lot more easily than you can odd 2 out the 27.
Well,
I'll say that much.
I'm going to start saying that we are now entering top page. Actually, Winter 1703 was at the very bottom of top page top page results now. Actually, Winter 1703, Mad Master, and Chickens in the Attic were. I had to close some things on Excel. And that means we are now getting into, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players. We have 14 players left. Yeah, so apart from Biggie Mac, who I spoiled.
We don't know who that.
I guess it's time to hedge your bets on who takes top 4.
My reputation precedes me.
Brother Mojo is next.
Cool.
Okay.
It's really interesting because in this range of cycle counts, you see like the really high effort ones interspersed with the clean low latency ones.
Yeah, this one zooms by so fast that we essentially have to take this cycle by cycle. I think we have to just take things cycle by cycle from here on out because there's just too many things going on. Okay. So the Burlow wheel is what's interesting to me. It looks like it's an odd 2 out, maybe? No, it's just different.
I would want to identify where's the main pipeline first, and to identify that, I kind of want to look at what the air is doing. So let's go up towards the top.
This one.
Yeah, okay. So the air is going to the left, and that's the main pipeline, but there's one air that is set aside and held by arm 9 at the beginning to serve as odd something out.
Ooh, that extra swing there required by arm 12 kind of is a little bit painful for cycles. Alright, so...
Man. I love the catalysts and I love the second pipeline, but I really feel like people should build the simplest possible thing first just to know the number that they should beat, because this is high effort, but it doesn't beat like something that can be done in 250 gold.
We will get to that. Coming up next, Communist Mountain. Okay, let's take a look at the air first. Making a backbone, and that's all it does. Alright. And there's definitely an odd one out pipeline. That's what the bottom is doing. So here, we've got...
And it gets it in on the cycle it needs to, like the very last available cycle.
Yeah. Very nice.
Very good.
Coming up next, Goodbye Galaxy. Well, there you go. Yeah, so if you do enough, if you optimize for your latency well enough, you can get... Oh, you got a 335? Okay, let me take a look at my Outlook to see if I can find
I
yours.
appreciate on this solution that the waters that aren't used at least help speed up the catalysis.
All right. Goodbye Galaxy. This was... so you say that you have a 335 gold solution. I'm inclined to believe you, but I think you accidentally sent in a copy of your older solution. Because I have two solutions from you that are exactly both at 355. And they're both week 3-43. Oops. Goodbye Galaxy. Not that it would have mattered anyway, though. Because Sander S has the next one, and this one is at 275.
There's one more 27 still.
Yeah.
Sander S has the cheapest. This looks like this identical layout to my first. Wow, Sander S, you landed on a solution that I stemmed rookie. Good job. I think mine were linked one arms on the track loop because they could be. But yeah, this is identical to a solution that I built. Really cool to see.
I don't think this is actually identical because the area on this is 13 less than the one that I have from you. Although you might have done something different.
Oh, I never sent you my second 27.
Oh.
Yeah, the first 27 was a bit wider. This is really similar to the solution that I sent, and I think it is identical to the second one that I built. That was 27.
I wonder how much area that would save. It would have saved from 70 to 65. Oh well. It doesn't matter though.
Oh yeah, Flame Haze, you can press 2 to see the area that is taken up by your solution while it is running.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so now that we're under 27, we're in the land of monsters. Let's see what people built.
Yeah, indeed. So this is actually 10th place. 10th place started at 26 cycles. And that is, begins with Tweedledee. Yeah, you can press 4 to do that.
Arm 1 is a what? Oh, it's a Burlow's wheel. I'm wondering why there is a 2-cycle repeat spam, but it's Burlow. No other arm can do something meaningful without a wand in 2 cycles.
I wonder why...
It's completely... It doesn't need to do that. It's just fine to hold the water there every cycle. One of the wiggle wheel, I guess. All right, now that we're not fascinated by the wheel, what's the solution actually? So all the air that goes, or all the water that goes down is in a 2 + 2 + 3. And is it 3 water that goes up?
Let's take a look.
Oh, it's odd 2 out. It's completely making odd 2 out.
So there's 1 water, 2 waters, 3 waters, 4?
Oh, there's 1 air that is set aside at the beginning, separate from the... So 1 air input is actually set aside to be air.
Oh, there.
That first one. And it adds to the 3 + 3s in the top.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's odd 2 out. There's a lot of like special case seed air because it only takes 1 air to be able to propagate air as much as needs to be done in the output.
Yeah, I'm curious how that air works, because... Oh, so right here, this air gets duplicated onto this, even though this is part of the second output, and then it's duplicated
then the
onto
first
there.
output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it's
it gets
air every time it needs to be. Now this is some good navigating for the odd 2 out.
Mm-hmm.
So the latency would have this be a 32. But it saves 6 cycles by stalling by picking the first pair of inputs. And then saving 2 whole outputs for 8 cycles. So it's +2 - 8 from a 32 to make a 26.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah,
Maybe that makes sense, maybe that doesn't.
So pressing 1 shows you the position of the atoms, but it doesn't show you the last position of the arms, unfortunately.
Yeah.
2 doesn't do anything until you start running it. Yeah. And, I mean, this doesn't really do anything.
3 is there for alt-click for Linux, because 3-click is the way that works.
Yeah. Alright, so congratulations on 10th place, Tweedledee. Coming in 9th place, Rolomni.
Nice.
Pretty compact. Let's put that away.
Oh, it's the exact same as the one that we saw from, I don't even remember who it was, but it was 7 atoms to one direction and 8 atoms to the other, building 2 every 6.
Oh, and you can see the waste.
Yeah.
Over here.
You know, it never even occurred to me to build a period 6 machine that moved some atoms left, some atoms right. I never had a nearly balanced pipeline solution.
All right. Well, congratulations.
It's cool to see that gets down to 26 pretty readily.
Yeah. Congratulations on 9th place for Lomni. Yeah, so let's talk about gold, because that was the second, that was the tiebreaker. Tweedledee was at 980, Rolomni's at 855. After this is Mattermonkey at 830. Was it? I don't remember who it was who sent me a literal last-minute solution. Oh, it was Monster Racer.
Yeah, that's a Monster Racer thing.
All right, well, here we go. Lots and lots of duplications and calcifications down there.
This looks like an odd one out's happening at the bottom that's going to be just like assembled in a shape, but then all the duplication is going to happen. Oh, it's not an odd one out. It's filling that pipeline pretty often.
Well, I think after, yeah, only the first stabilized air is moved to the left side, and the rest of them are used to make the outputs on the right side. And then on this side, it's 1, 2.
It's odd 2 out.
It's odd 2 out. It's odd 2 out. Yeah, and
Okay.
then you have this thing.
Yeah, it's just basically we're continuing to run the machinery even when we're out of air to work with.
Mm-hmm. All right. Congratulations on 8th place, Matter Monkey.
Yeah, well done on that solution.
All right, now we're going to drop down a cycle to the only scoring 25 cycle solution, actually. Guzumi.
Nice. Yeah, they impressed us with cost on week 1. This is the first time I've seen them in the tournament, so I didn't know whether cycles would be fast. This is a good score.
I'm trying to figure out... Oh, that's why. I was trying to figure out why this calcification was necessary, and it's because it gets changed into a water here.
Okay, so this is an odd one out solution that looks like a low latency main core pipeline every 4 that would output on 29 if left to its own devices, and then a single odd one out pipeline that speeds it up by 4.
Yeah. So on this side, it's making... Yeah, it took 3 waters to make an extra output. Alright, well, very cool. Congratulations on 7th place, Guzumi. Alright, and then we are followed by our only 24 cycle solution.
How low does it go, you guys? Just getting you all idea of this.
Mr. Puzzle.
Nice.
Alrighty. Do you want to take a look at the top or the bottom first?
Let's go top. The bottom looks like it's the odd one out. There's
Alright.
like track loops in the top. Oh, it brings over a water for
A catalyst, yeah.
a catalyst. That means that Burlow wheel can be left for the bottom pipeline. That's good. Oh, okay. I see what's happening as well. Like the air that's grabbed. Oh wait, no, I don't see what's happening. I don't see why this is 25 and not faster.
This is 24.
Oh wait, you said 25 on the last one, so 24 on this one. Then
Yes.
I see why the speed is. Okay. There's one latency that I didn't see at the top, but it looked like a 27 that could be accelerated by 4, in which case that would be a 23. But it's a 28 being accelerated by 4. And that's a quick way to do it, and I like the catalyst. That really makes the Burlow wheel get out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, odd one out. Very nice.
It's like the real big problem with an odd one out if your main pipeline relies on the Burlow wheel is that then you don't have a way to get air into your water unless you go take a trip to the Burlow wheel or steal one of your outputs that has air in it. So having a catalyst for the main pipeline was a clever approach.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mr. Puzzle, on 6th place. 5th places are one and only 23 cycle solution.
Now, I had a bunch of 23s at some point.
Yes, you sent me a bunch of 23s, and unfortunately this one is not quite as elegant as your 23s, but...
Oh, but it's Bambi. All right,
It's
yeah.
Bambi.
I know that Bambi is skilled at making big solutions.
Alright. The air is down here, and the water is there.
Okay, so the bottom is where the main pipeline happens, and there's odd 2 out going on around it.
Alright, so the bottom here is just a very low latency 2-to-1 pipeline, as you can see here, because all the air was being made and all the water is just being rearranged here. The top side...
Where do they get the material for odd 2 out? I guess 1 air input and 4 water inputs is odd 2 out. Yeah, that's completely reasonable.
Huh.
Yeah, that's some good effort. Difficult approach to get working. Odd 2 out was not easy here.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that 23 can be done with odd 1 out, and odd 2 out is only necessary to go 22, 21. But seeing it done in a little bit worse latency, it's still good effort.
Alright, congratulations on 5th place, Bambi. Yes, coming up next is OMG It's a Beast. 22 cycles.
Wow.
Oh boy. Okay. Here's input. Here's input. There's a bunch of stuff here. Um,
It looks like the main pipeline is in between the inputs and the output, and then the odd two out pipeline is the bunch of stuff.
yes, you are correct. So that's the yeah.
Really
And
well done.
let's take a look at the odd one or the odd two out, or is this odd one out?
This is odd two out. It takes one air and it uses one atom of that air for each of the outputs. So it's using 2 water and 1 air atom for each of the outputs it makes, and it gets 2 of them that way.
Ah.
This is pretty clean.
Right. Well, congratulations, OMG It's Abyss, for obtaining 4th place. Coming up next, Ginyu.
The familiar names are showing up here. 22. Okay. And once again, there's a really quick pipeline off to the right, and then a somewhat more involved odd two out pipeline on the left, I think.
Yeah, so
there's a catalyst that gets dropped in place at some point, which means I'm a little confused.
It's this water atom right there.
Oh, wait. This is... Okay, it's building the first couple outputs wrong because the catalyst isn't in place.
Yes.
And it does a weird pivot fix. That's cool. So if you look at the first output that's put there, it pivots it over to duplicate the water because not yet has the water been placed on the catalyst way over on the right. And while it's pivoting, it's not only turning that atom into water, it's passing the air along to material that is taken off to the left. Because that salt needs to become, or not the first one, but the second one I did see, it turns a salt into an air right here.
Right there.
And that's the seed air for this odd two out pipeline. So now there's a lot more air that can be. I said odd two out both times, but this is only odd one out. Okay, wait. This is...
I don't know if this is... it might... Oh, no, it's not. It crashes here.
You have to start it from the beginning, but I'm pretty sure 5 outputs come from the right.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is true. It is an odd one out. Yeah, it's an odd one out with surgery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That makes sense. I would say that this is an odd one out 22, and I thought the only way that I could do odd one out with quotes 22 was to use surgery, and that's what Ginyu here is doing. Cool. I've just really wanted to see all the other approaches after I've been spending so much of my week on this puzzle. And you know that. You know how much I've sent you.
Yeah. Coming up next, Pentafig.
And Pentapig's in second place, right?
Yes. 21 cycles.
What was the name of the solution? I think I saw it said Miracle.
It's just Miracle.
Yep. So, okay, he felt like it was a miracle when it got to work. Nice.
Yeah, the reason why I said, Biggie Mac, you need to stop assuming that everybody is a cycles god like you is because, He sent me a message after getting 20 cycles saying something along the lines of, oh, it's actually not that bad. It's actually kind of easy once you get it. I'm like,
I mean, so I found an approach that made it really a lot more approachable than all the pipelining that I've been doing before it. And I wasn't the only one to find that approach. Panic sent a message in the Discord right after the deadline saying, oh, he'd also found that approach but wasn't able to complete a solution.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Is on the right track too.
Let's take a look at this a little bit more. Let's take a look at this a little bit more closely. So there's this that's being saved, and then there's a seed air here, and that gets made into this is odd 2 out on the below here.
21 requires odd 2 out as far as I can tell, and this is way cheaper than the 21 I had made. So it would have beaten me had I not found a 20.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, and the top part is just a standard 2-to-1.
Yeah, that's a 27 that's slowed down by 2 and then sped up by 2 outputs. So 27 minus 6 is 21.
Alright. Well, congratulations. I don't remember if I said congratulations for Ginyu, but okay. Congratulations, Ginyu, on 3rd place. Congratulations, Pentapig, on 2nd place. And because I spoiled this already, congratulations, Biggie Mac, on first place.
And the 20 cycle min. I was not. So it took me 8 days to find a minimum cycle approach, but this one works. And the approach is pretend that you can output every 2 cycles, and then just feed the buffer all the output material it needs. So if you watch, the first 2 water and first 3 air are set aside into a buffer. So by cycle 5, all that material is set off to the side, and then the main pipeline starts up. That's just that every 2 track. And all that I need to do is ensure that I can put a water-air duplet on that bonder off to the left of the water input every 2 cycles. And if I can achieve that, it's 20.
Yeah, this is kind of reminiscent of some of the overlap solutions that I've seen like everybody do, where you essentially create like some big like string of molecules, or a big string molecule, and you just feed that back into your actual pipeline. Never thought that doing overlap solutions would be useful, did you?
This does resemble, you're right, a lot of the overlap tech. If you notice though, one thing that is special about the latency fixes at the end, most of the arms on that pentagonal loop pivot and then slide to get the output into position so that they can continue to keep the promise to move out of the way for the next arm. But arm 2 rotates because it doesn't have to promise to be out of the way for the next arm, and it saves 1 cycle on the very last output. That allows it to be 20. It's the perfect usage of all the possible material, and it's minimum cycles.
All right. Well, there we go. I'm actually going to go and close my Opus Magnum because I need to go parse the
cost solves.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about cost while that's happening. Cost was a mistake. I'm just gonna say that right now. Cost was a big mistake on my part.
There's a term that Shadow Cluster had started called dubious cost, where you think that a number is probably possible, but damn, it would be hell to try to implement. This is a dubious cost puzzle.
Yeah, I did say that I wanted like the minimum metrics to be kind of unclear, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to be this terrible. All right, GCA. Time to press F5 to run this script. Working on anime, Bambi, Biggie Mac, Brother Mojo, Chicks in the Attic, Cold Spaghetti, Communist Mountain, Darius, Cavalier, Goodbye, Kusumi. Okay, done. All right. Oh, okay, well, whatever. Verification.
Okay, it seems like
Pardon?
everything else kind of shut down.
What happened? Oh, are you talking about the Discord stream?
Sorry, say again?
Or were you talking about the Discord stream?
No, like the Twitch stream also kind of jerked to a halt. There was a spinning wheel for a moment, but it seems like it's back.
Okay. Huh. All right, solutions are in there. I'm going to quickly go and upload the unverified results. Week 3. Unpublished. Week 3. Unverified results. GCA. Copy. Paste. All right, time to start up.
You mean you don't just look at the CG folder and try to figure out who's the fastest at your target cost? Oh, I missed something. I did not see how much faster top was.
All right.
I will not spoil, but this is exciting. Something's better than I expected.
Let me start streaming to you again on Discord. There you go. Alrighty.
There you go.
Warning. And And this time it's in reverse alphabetical order?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it does this.
It's not perfect either unless it goes right to left reverse.
Yeah, which isn't exactly correct. I don't know. I don't know why Opus Magnum does this sometimes. Anyway. Alrighty.
It should still be findable. We won't ever run into the wrong type of solution from a name.
Kirisaki Kyoko only sent in a cycle solve, so we're skipping that one. Steven, what did you do?
It's even o'clock. Let's see what bootleg looks like.
Oh, this is the one that, this is the only part that matters. This is the only part that matters.
It attempts to build something, and if it doesn't match, it just bonds it and tries again. It's impressive that you can make a system.
Take a look at what this chain is.
It's each of the outputs-ish from the campaign. It's the shape, but it doesn't have the animismus or the triplex or anything that could do that way. It doesn't have metal. This is a high-effort meme.
Hey, we have one output, yay! And then it repeats all of the...
So this is just chapters 1, I guess, plus stabilized water.
I don't see hair product in here, or is hair product chapter 2?
Hair product is the start of chapter 2.
Oh, it's the start of chapter 2. Huh.
It's funny, the time that I got to be aware of what things are in what chapter is when they made those chapter unification challenges on Steam, where you get every input and every output from a chapter and you have to optimize that in like parallel. That one's pretty hard for cost because access points.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because you've got so many outputs. That's an interesting concept. I'm not gonna do something like that for the tournament, though. That's just rude. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna run it to completion because it's 2,000 cycles, and it will start to get slideshowy towards the end. Yeah, when you're moving around very big molecules, Opus Magnum slows down. But yeah, 590 gold. Not the best.
I don't think you're
gold.
gonna watch very many of the end.
I will try to speed through it as fast as I can, but we'll see. All right, coming up next, Flame Haze.
Welcome to the tournament, and here's how cost can be scary.
Yes.
All right, so here's a piston. Piston makes it more convenient to try to program, but it's the most expensive kind of arms, so even just adding 3 extra track to this would be cheaper than having a piston.
Oh, this is hard coded out to the end because the setup. There's
No,
a
just
setup
the 2.
here. Is it just?
Oh wait, it
no.
is. It is to the end. You're right.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, because it needs to get a one of the water inputs on the other side of its duplication glyph.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's faster than not hard coding it to the end, but it's speed is not the problem in this solution in the GC category. I would say that the piston is the main problem, and learning to love and embrace the fixed arm on a track is the way to get better, or without a track if you're into that sort of thing.
Coming up next. Okay, it's in reverse order because of course. Cold Spaghetti. Another piston arm.
Interestingly, the previous one used a calcifier. This one uses a debonder. So there's a choice in glyphs, to be sure. Also, this one is using quite a bit of input suppression, which is a really good technique to learn and know to block those inputs from coming back in just so that you have the space to work with. Because now you can rotate things through that like he is right there.
Yeah.
When there are inputs that have multiple atoms, you can suppress them even after you've pulled them. It's when you have inputs with only one atom that it's hard to suppress because you need to move something in at the same cycle as you move something else out.
2-1, and yes, the main issue with this is there's a piston arm, so that's +2, or +20 gold, and
Versus doing this with a fixed arm, yeah.
yeah. Just gonna speed through this real quick.
But also the piston is being used to reach both sides of all of these glyphs, which is kind of important in a solution as well. You want to be able to reach as much of the solution as you can with the arms you place.
Coming up next, Kupio Ala. Up here.
Another piston lover.
Interesting
They set aside the
assembly.
3 water on their own, like
Yeah.
in pretty different places.
It's
And then they pull the rest in
assembly.
for assembly. Makes sense.
There's no input suppression here.
Yeah, it isn't strictly needed because they have all the reach of a piston to work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you have only the 6 hexes reached by a single arm that you really want those hexes underneath the inputs. The piston kind of solves the problem of needing to suppress inputs for you. Just a piston pistoning, nice solution name.
Coming up next is Topomouse. And this one runs in 500 cycles, so...
We're in the 70s now. So arm on a track. That's 10 gold cheaper than a piston, but it's still using the duplication, the calcification, and the bonder.
Yeah. So
it's interesting. You have the choice between that calcifier or a debonder. Sorry, I keep talking over you. What do you say?
No worries, no worries. When I first made this puzzle, I expected 60 gold to be the minimum, being calcification, duplication, a single arm, and bonder. What I did not notice was I allowed a unbonder into the solution, and that was a big oversight because, well, we'll get there.
Duplication is the most expensive glyph that isn't the glyph of multi-bonding. It's still expensive for the amount of footprint it takes up. It's deceptively expensive. But once you internalize that duplication is expensive, you look for a way to avoid it.
Yeah, another possible solution was to just make duplication glyphs free, which was something that I did not catch, unfortunately.
That's a good point. But then you could also have this huge swath of duplication glyphs. That would be a funny, different puzzle.
Yeah.
Whoa, this calcifier that's out of reach. That's quite the position for a calcifier. Like, usually when you have an arm on a track, you're not thinking about access points as much. But this solution places that calcifier so far of access because it only needs to use it once.
Pretty cool. Duplication isn't introduced until chapter 4? No.
Yeah, duplication is a late game glyph.
Duplication exists in alcohol separation.
Nope. Oh wait, yes. Yeah. It is because that's when you get introduced to the wheel. So duplication is introduced alongside the wheel, and it seems like the ability to duplicate elements from neighboring elements is like secondary in importance. But I'm glad to see that nobody is using the Brillo's wheel in cost. That's good note.
Okay, so...
Well, besides Steven, but nobody who is intending to get a high score in the tournament.
We're gonna start going into 60 gold solutions now, and that starts off with chickens in the attic.
What's the 60 gold layout? Oh, okay. Still a fixed arm, but with... Oh, wow. Yeah, you got to do quite a lot of input suppression here.
I'm gonna speed this up because, yeah. This one is the slowest one, and it is at almost 1,300 cycles.
The slowest
Chickens,
60 gold.
chickens in the attic. I don't know if you are watching this, by the way. I don't know what if you sent me identical solutions or if you had like a better ones, but you sent me the wrong solutions, because I have 3 solutions from you that are all 60 gold, 12.95, and 35 area. So just so you know.
Yeah, it's still fast by the comparison to the later solutions we'll be seeing. Just to address what Twitch chat is talking about, of like 1,300 is fast. What are you talking about? But the fact that it only has to make one output from 2 of the air and 1 of the water inputs kind of inherently makes it slightly faster than the approaches that you're forced into for lower costs.
Oh, one of them like for Telefix? I don't know. I mean, if it was, then I don't know why would I would have 3. Coming up next, Darius.
It's very cool that you don't really need to access both sides of duplication in any context and don't need to access calcification. So the access point counting in this puzzle is pretty fun for a fixed arm if you're taking the 60 gold approach. But when you get these glyphs, the fact that you're using a fixed arm is fun. When you get a different pair of glyphs, it isn't.
We'll get to that. It's just to be appended to the cycles improvements. Huh. All right. Coming up next, our Titan. So this one, we've got 2 more 60 gold solutions left.
Then we get to the people who learned how they could suffer. You will not catch a break, by the way. Oh, I really like that it puts the input that it used for suppression back so that it can loop. So it has to get that air out of the way and start shuffling around.
Yeah.
To move the output through it, but then it puts it back, all nice and tidy.
That is neat. Oh, it doesn't do it. It doesn't use it for anything other than a duplication, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, suffering. Yeah.
It's interesting that there's the cycles improvements matter at a fixed cost, but the cycles come from tracking things like how often do you have to re-grab something that you've let go of already for shuffling purposes. So the more streamlined your approach is, the faster it's likely to be in cycles or in gold cycles. But there's so much shuffling to do here because you have 2 large inputs and only 1 arm that can reach anything.
Is this one hard-coded to the end? Oh, it is.
That sounds like a thing people could do, yeah. I guess it's because they don't want to have to reset it to the starting in, like, our Titan's previous solution.
Yeah.
It reset that thing it was pulling out just so that it could loop properly, but that does take cycles. So you save cycles by hard coding.
All right. We're gonna. That was the end of the 60 cycle solution, or sorry, the 60
that was
gold.
Bambi?
Yes, that was Bambi. Coming up next is F. Cavalierne. Interesting.
There's the bonder and the debonder. It is all you need.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what we're why I said cost was a mistake. Yes, the rare 55 is because of the odd number of
Trying to track.
track loop. And the mistake is you can do this with just an bonder and debonder, and
So you just for one input, for one output, I mean, you need to grab 3 water inputs and 4 air inputs to use the atoms that aren't salt. And that forces you to grab, in addition to that, 3 pairs of salts and 4 single salts, so you get 10 waste for every output you build that is all salt.
Yep, I take full responsibility for causing this undue amount of suffering.
So the one thing is, this is something that is, I would say, rewarding to complete. But it is not rewarding to try to secondary optimize. Because once you've finished it, you're like, I want to never touch this again.
Yeah.
And so having a secondary on this was the reason that I thought it wasn't fun. There might have been people who just thought it wasn't fun to try to solve a puzzle like this. But I think solving this is fun. It's just I never want to touch it again after I've finished it.
Alright. So, here's the interesting thing. Because nobody really wanted to optimize this for secondaries, we are already in the top page, and the top page is a lot of scores. So let's see here. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 18, 19, 19 plus 5. So there are 24 players that are in the top page just because not that many people sent in optimizations because, yeah. So, we are at the top of the 50 gold, and there are a lot of 50 gold solutions. And it begins with OMG, it's a beast.
Oh, so Abyss is building the input that it's using the waste chain as a handle effectively.
Yeah.
The solution keeps everything connected so that it doesn't have to juggle 2 things, which would be fast, except then it also has to walk its way to the end of the stick, which is slow.
Mm-hmm. And I think this one is hard-coded out to the end.
Yeah, because it does something different the first time when it doesn't have a previous waste stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the walk to the end of the stick is really an unfortunate part of this. It does make sense because you can set aside all the water and air much more easily than you can set aside all the salt that you're generating. Yeah, this is... Oh, at least it gets access on everything because an arm on 2-track can reach both sides. So this is a pretty common thing in solutions where you have an arm on 2-track. The bonder and the debonder are placed parallel to the track so that one side of the track, the arm reaches one side of the glyph, the other side of the track, the arm reaches the other side of it.
So OMG Sabis says, damn, my optimization didn't matter, lol. Not quite. You were very, very close. You were very, very close.
2597 cycles there.
Yep, and username Void got... Well, it doesn't say here, but username Void got 5 cycles faster.
Oh my gosh, that's so close. That hurts.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Did I miss Anime? Oh, I did. No. Anime is faster. Anime is above. This is username Void. This is not Voidify.
Yeah. All these sticks.
Yeah, well.
All about that big stick.
This isn't Space Chem. Can make thicker sticks in Opus Magnum.
Yeah, in Space Chem, you can't rotate a stick that's bigger than like length 8 because at that point you are at the edges of your reactor. But there is no edge of the Opus Magnum universe. You could rotate a stick that was 40 million atoms long.
Yep, and it will chug.
Macroscopic stick.
There are some really strange rotations that you can do in Space Chem that are not exactly like it's 8 atoms long plus a little bit on the edges. It gets really strange though.
I guess that makes sense because the atoms don't perfectly fill the tile they're on. And
The
that's
Space
that's the case
Chem,
in Opus Magnum as well. The atoms are of diameter 1 over square root 2 in the units where the tile is diameter 1, which is why you can do certain motions without going into the next tile. And sometimes you do go into the next tile, and that's just case by case.
yeah. Space Chem. Is Space Chem as good as Opus Magnum? In my opinion, it is not as good as Opus Magnum. Um, the
If I speak with my hour count, Opus Magnum is worth 2,300 hours, Space Chem is worth 800 hours.
The reason why I say that Space Chem is not as good as Opus Magnum is just because Space Chem is a lot more limiting when it comes to instruction space, and Space Chem is a lot, and because of that, Space Chem is a lot less forgiving. Opus Magnum is also a lot more polished. There's like the art assets, the music, and everything is
It's
just.
recorder.
Pardon?
Oh no, we can't diss on Space Chem music. Space Chem has, I think, better music than Opus Magnum.
I
That's
think
what I
they're.
think.
I think they're comparable. I think they're comparable. Yeah, but like the main thing is just like art assets. Opus Magnum beats that hands down, and it's just the infinite solution or the infinite instruction space makes Opus Magnum a lot more friendly, and it because like a lot of players have difficulties with Space Chem just because of the really weird difficulty curve of Space Chem. Like the first what is it called? The first
Good
boss
solution by
fight.
anime, by the way. Although the area scores are enormous. Everything's big here.
Yeah, the boss fights for Space Chem were really strange. They're kind of like difficulty spikes, but yeah. All right, coming up next is Voidify. But yeah, if there was like, if you wanted to get into like a Zack like, that's like not coding based, I would personally recommend Opus Magnum just because it's just easier to get into, and then Space Chem afterwards if you are kind of like a sucker for punishment, honestly.
Also, I feel like Voidify and Username Void are using the exact same layout and the same name, and this makes me concerned. Do we have an alt account?
This isn't the same layout, is it?
It's different from Animes, but I'm pretty sure this is almost identical, if not identical, to Username Void, who was between. Oh wait, the water input is rotated in this one. It was the water that's held by the atom in Voidify, and it's the salt that was held in Username Voids.
It's
But
close,
the
but it's
position of the Deep Wonder and
not.
Wander relative to the arm on the track and the orientation of the salt as a whole was identical.
Loops every output. Yeah, username void is 270 cycles slower, 250-ish area more. This one, it's gonna be I'm
How many cycles
sorry.
are these right now? They're still in the upper, like the low 2000s?
We're still in. This is 2300.
23, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sorry for making you guys sit through this, but I have to do this because this is what verification is. I guess technically I could use the verify all solutions thing, but that has some weird glitches in it. I don't think it's a problem for this one, but for week 0, one player's solution didn't verify correctly. It was because they made...
It was one arm that didn't start acting until the 24th tape loop or something.
Yeah, so because of that, I think what happened was the solution parser saw, oh, you've finished this one thing, but you've literally not done any of the other output. It's an incomplete solution, therefore it just went on and said this isn't solved.
Monster Racer says in chat, I'm guessing my literal last minute solve isn't included here. Actually, it is, and it beat Voidify by 3 cycles.
Yep, 3 cycles.
With a pretty different layout as well.
Yeah. Chump change
This
boy.
one's cool that it bonds before it debonds, so it handles a little bit more in parallel.
Chump change boy. What is your username that's on this?
Oh, by the way, pro tip, if you want to get rid of some of the random gaps in your programming, you can control-click the first instruction a bunch of times so that it just copies the first instruction in place and inserts it every time. And when you insert, it squishes any gaps that follow it. And then you can delete all the copies and Control-Shift-A to move everything back to the left. And it freely tightens up all of your solution, any of the gaps there. It just doesn't work with V or C. So if you use the copy-paste, you have it. Or if you use the repeat or the reset, you have it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Puzzle says, then you will magically find all the resets. But if you ever hit reset, you're playing the game differently than me.
Here's the last one. Alright. Coming up next.
Oh,
Anime. Wait, no. I already did that.
there we go.
That was
Okay.
Monster Racer. Coming up next is Mad Master 5000. Sorry about that. Sorry, what were you
Chump
saying?
Change Boy Mad Master.
Yes. It's not in alphabetical order. Because Mad Master's down here for some reason.
Weird. Your program is cursed.
Yeah. Does your solution parser do it?
Yeah.
Is it,
It
like...
writes the file, closes the file, and then it goes to the next person alphabetically, opens the file, and it worked every time.
Yeah, that's how my solution parser does as well. I don't know why it does...
Mine also uses Python, which is a sensible language. I'm not saying it's IAB's fault, but I'm saying that you don't use Python. I have killed Brookie. We love you, Brookie. Thank you for hosting a tournament.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I like the use of equilibriums here, by the way, to like mark the spots where this giant waste stick is getting rested.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine this puzzle except area is the secondary instead of cycles.
Oh god.
Then you would want to make a ball instead of a stick.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to do GAC for week 1. Because that's just going to be waste ball management, and I thought that was going to be so terrible. So, all right, coming up next, RPO. Except it's not exactly in alphabetical order. Hey, look. I've got this track bonder and debonder, but this time it's tilted 60 degrees.
Yep. It's like seeing an old friend with your head sideways. So, if you count access points in this puzzle, you need to reach the inputs, you need to reach the output, and you want to reach both sides of the debonder and both sides of the bonder. But you add that all up and it makes 7. So people who are familiar with it are like, oh, just add a track. You add a track, you can reach more things. Single arm on a track can reach 8 things without issue. And that works. But as a lot of people who have made 50 gold were wondering, but 40G might be possible, right? You just have to work with the fact that you can't reach one of the sides of the input or the out, or the bonder or the debonder. So I know that I'm saying this specifically during RP0 solution because I know that he was saying that he tried for a really long time to get 40 gold to work and failed. And so 50 gold was his like fallback solution. But keeping in mind that 40 gold would require you to not reach both sides of the debonder or both sides of the bonder. You have to pick one and reach only half of it. That's the reason it gets like several tiers harder.
Mm-hmm. Andrej K is next.
Goodbye, Galaxy. I hope you have a tasty hat. Oh, it's good to see something that's not linked one arm. That's cool.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty interesting. With a 2-track, I usually expect length 2 arm just because you have more access points, but I guess for this puzzle, it technically doesn't matter.
Yeah, because one arm or length 1 arm gets you 8 access points, while the length 2 gets you 12. So
Oops.
there's no redundancy of like I can reach the same point left angled on this side of the track or right angled on that side of the track. They're distinct points. But if you want to go fast, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of redundancy in your grab points.
Mm-hmm.
I know that when I solved refined bronze and 70 gold, it was length 3 arm. It just made it so much easier to handle large waste chains and large intermediate components. But of course, when I solved refined bronze in 70 gold, it was after someone else had already done it in 70, and before Pentafig did it in 60. So there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. I'm just reminiscing of the ways that people solved week 0 for gold cycles. Week 0 gold cycles was actually really interesting.
There's the triplex bonded waste.
No. Week 0 was the Rivari's wheel thing.
Right, that's week 0 is different from week 1.
Yes. Coming up next is Spect 98. Ooh.
Oh, that looks like some conditional grabs.
Yeah, that means that I have to go and alt-click a bunch of times.
It's not a bunch of times, it's just 6 times. I think it's handling the waste that isn't yet there.
Yeah.
And for every other time through, the waste is there.
Let's see if your water suppression tactics made me the fastest of the 1-length arms. Well, this is a 1-length arm. That's a hard nope.
And like even though we're making our way through the 50 golds, getting slightly faster, each person is getting more points than the person before them because the placement bonus here it's proportional to 1 over the number, or it's incremented by 1 over the number of entrants.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 30 seconds of a point, I think, for beating someone. So every cycle here in this tiebreaker is important, even though everyone's at 50 gold.
So this one's at 2,037 cycles. So we're about to break 2K cycles. we go. Coming up next, Brother Mojo. Mediocrity. Oh, come on. You scored 7 points in this. That's pretty good.
This is someone who knows that you could do 40G but couldn't figure it out. I like the convenience bonding. Like, it's not making a stick. It's not trying to make a stick. It's just bonding wherever it can reach.
Is this hard-coded to the end? I think it might be.
I mean, yeah, with this sort of bond shape, I imagine it has to be.
Mojo said that they got a 4 out of 6 outputs and 40 gold. Oof.
Really? Oh, wow. So they must have had their waist loop around and bite
Oh.
them. Yeah, they're using curved waist. And so if you can keep this sort of an algorithm going, it becomes
Yeah.
a circle, and the circle will run into the things you were handling.
Waste tree. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Alright, coming up next, Sander S.
Mediocrity.
Too much time wasted.
I wonder if this is the sort of the starfish name of having done the other approaches for a long time and then realizing late in the week, oh, wait, here's something that beats everything I've done so far. I've wasted time on everything I've attempted.
Yep. What place are we at? I think we're around 15th place. It's either 15th or 14th or something like that. Yeah. Even though the top page is, even though we've been in the top page for a while, it's just there's so many the density of solutions on the top page is very high of scoring solutions.
When Ricky's looking at the top page, it's the page of all solutions submitted. And so a lot of the times it'll include like 3 or 4 variants per person. So there won't be as many individual names on the top page as there are solutions. But now, because people will make one and then call it and not revisit it, there's quite a few solutions on the top page that are just like one person's only attempt at getting this sort of an approach to work.
Yeah, so this is 14th place.
Yeah, the so much time wasted is being confirmed in the Twitch chat. Like, they made the same mistake that you made of assuming it would be a duplication calcification puzzle without having realized that duplication is so expensive.
Mm-hmm. All right, coming up next, Rolomni. Very nice Critelli hex placement.
Got some curvy waist.
Is that actually curvy waist, or is it just a 3-length chain?
It's
or
not
sorry, 3 width.
It might just be a chain with an offset, but no, It's not a consistent chain. It looks like also it's hard-coded to the end.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Pentapig's Week 0 Gold Cycle solve, where it was kind of a spiral that built progressively wider around the arm in the middle. But that was because turning saved him cycles, but he couldn't turn so often that it made a circle, so he had to make a spiral.
Right, and he missed the disposal. He missed the disposal tech. Disposal and track. You were also going to do. You almost made a solution that was like that.
Yes, you are correct. A bonder seemed like the obvious solution, and I forgot you didn't need it.
All right, coming up next, JoJo. Yeah, I guess it's time for people to hedge their bets for top 3. Even though I know I already published this XL, so...
I really like this approach. I love it so much. It builds everything bonded as it can so that it has this huge blob that contains the output, and then it piecemeal breaks off the salts and makes a stick out of them.
Oh, and it builds the waist chain like this, and it goes over.
It's a 2D. chunk. Or it's a
Pretty
10 by
cool.
n chunk, I guess. It's going to only grow in one dimension, but
Yeah.
different than the dimension of which the 10 atoms are extended.
Definitely saves on area.
It's also very fast because you are handling a lot in parallel when you have the whole blob.
Mm-hmm.
And parallelism is fast in this game. This is a very good game for parallel computing and efficiency. So is TIS, by the way, if you want another Zach game, but it's a programming one, which isn't everyone's cup of tea.
Right, but Opus Magnum has infinite computing power. TIS doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah, TIS is restrictive parallel computing, while Opus Magnum is unrestricted parallel computing.
Coming up
So
next.
1832, 50 gold is getting faster.
Yes, coming up next is Hutobi. Down, because this is in reverse order for some reason.
Hi, Mom. Hutobi did the same in the instructions in week 2. When you know you're going to be on a video somewhere, you do silly things.
Yep, well.
I like it. I appreciate it. Oh, wait, what's the looping behavior of this? Like, how does that waste? Oh no, it's hard coded. It isn't. I was wondering if this was something that happened just because of the way that the loop.
Is it actually
that very
hard-coded? No, okay, the setup is, or the beginning is different, but from there on out, it's 5 loops, I think.
Yeah, it's a loop, but it's. I mean, you've alt clicked once. You're not having to alt click
Yeah,
each time.
exactly.
Which means it's hard coded even if 5 of them are copies of the first.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Opus Magnum. We got big sticks.
Alright. We're now finally entering top 10. And that starts with Communist Mountain. Down here. Somewhere.
Another length 3 arm. Oh, and it's doing the same bonded all together break off.
Yep. It's just happened to be more efficient at it. And interestingly enough, if you were really good at 50 cycles, or sorry, 50 gold, and you optimize really well for cycles, you were able to break into top 10.
I think the reason that this is faster than JoJo's is that it is adding to the waste chain on the waste chain's, like, the same axis. It's just extending the existing one instead of building a new one and then grabbing the old one and joining them together.
Do you mean Hutobi?
I think it's probably more effective to do it this way. I can't tell for sure. This is certainly worse for area, but it might be better for cycles.
Yeah. Alright. After Communist Mountain is Goodbye Galaxy. Also with 50 gold. This is faster because it has to do less wiggling to build the salt chain. Oh, this one's loops. I have to alt click.
So this one just takes the atoms one at a time. I mean, this is the same approach that we saw at the very first one. Like, we saw the 55 do this one as well. I'm just kind of surprised that it's still relevant at this speed. There must have been a lot more cycles to squeeze out than I'd given it credit for when I saw it first.
Do you think it might have to do with just better grab drop management and just less,
and the order in which it places the atoms it is setting aside, because it's setting them aside in the order it's building them, so there doesn't have to be any shuffling once it's set them aside. And I guess that's because the input positions mean that it is agnostic to, like, when it travels to the left, it can grab an air or it can grab a water and doesn't have to have the board in a specific state to do either of them. 1439 is very fast.
Guzumi is up next. Oh, I should probably say, congratulations, Communist Mountain, on 10th place. Congratulations, Goodbye Galaxy, on 9th place. And congratulations, Guzumi, on 8th place. And this one runs in 1412, so 27 cycles faster. Alright. I want you guys to all steel your bellies because we will be seeing some pain soon.
Is this the last of the 50 gold?
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations to be the fastest solution that we will see for the rest of the tournament, for the rest of the week. It gets slower when you can't use the track.
Yep, it is going to be slideshow time soon enough. Alright, congratulations on 8th place.
1412. That's some fast. That's some comparably very, very fast solution.
Yeah, because coming up next is 40 gold does exist. Yes, this puzzle was possible in 40 gold and it was a complete mistake on my part. Congratulations to the 7 people who found a 40 gold solution and managed to submit to me.
Did your computer lag while opening this file?
I think that might have just been you.
Okay, it might have been a network effect.
There's 1,300. There's 1,300.
What are we doing here? This is an approach. Oh, it's keeping the things it wants along the stick. Ah, that's so gross. It does guarantee that your half-access debonder can reach them. And it's walking the stick to get each new piece.
RPO is just OMG, did you really?
This works.
Yeah, this is why, yeah, this is literally going to become a slideshow because this one takes up almost 73,000 area. Yep, suffering. I brought this upon myself.
So the challenge here is that you can only reach 1/2 of the debonder. And so this large stick aligned with the bonder has to have the pieces available to break off from it at a very specific angle so that the stick can be grabbed and the atom that you are trying to reach from it can be grabbed. And it's hilarious to me that it's holding them on different points down the stick and it's walking it all the way up and then all the way down for each stage of the process.
Turkey, as punishment, you have to watch all the 40 gold solutions real time. No.
Well, I mean, to be fair, alt-clicking only makes this thing run as fast as your processor will run it. When big sticks are spinning, alt-clicking is basically real-time speed. Because that cycle is processor limited and not render limited.
Yep, it's time to watch the slideshow.
The prep work in the solution is honestly brilliant. Like, as I was watching it the first time, just like keep piling the inputs into a giant stick and not really ever use them. I wasn't sure what it was doing, but now that I see, it's really carefully aligning each new atom that is useful in the correct direction off of the stick.
Voidify, the error in the actual stick is because he has to make the stick essentially like he's making the stick, or they're making the stick like completely flat on one side so that the atoms that they need is only sticks out in a very certain way. And to make that stick behave like this, it ended up being necessary for them to make it in this kind of way, apparently.
Yeah, like, there's no need for you to be maximally efficient in your atom usage as long as you are sufficient. So this was a working approach, and it honestly sounds much harder to have your waste be only salt for this particular approach.
Oh snap, it loops. Yeah, this thing loops, and we're not even halfway through this because as the area goes up, this thing is going to go slower and slower because we are watching a slideshow now.
They were at 28,000 area.
There's some very interesting frames if you see it. Like, the arms and the atoms are not on the same area.
Yeah, well, the renderer runs to catch up. It's putting the arm in a position that it reaches. It might not be the one frame you care about seeing, but it's the one frame you get. Yeah.
Highest area metrics. Sorry, no, we're not. We're not going to do slideshow simulator. Imagine 40 gold non-looping.
Hello.
One person did that. That does for one of their non-scoring solutions. Another person does have that as their scoring solution. Another non-scoring.
I'm looking at the instruction counts, and for the top, quite a few instructions equals area or instructions equals cycles.
Yeah, yeah. So for those, it's just hard coded out to the end.
Like Matter Monkeys is one of the only 240s that is looping, and the other is one of mine that didn't actually.
Yeah.
Like most of the 40 gold are not looping.
Thankfully, this is the only thing above 4,000 cycles that we have to sit through, at least for 40 gold solutions.
And yes, in response to the what, yes, that means that if something has like 4,000 cycles, that the person placed 4,000 instructions. And whether they did that in the editor or whether they used an external program like Russell's or Findyr's, like solution automator. Yeah, Fiedit is really nice. I didn't use Fiedit for mine. I copy pasted 6 times with a couple tweaks on the first and the last loop.
This is the last one. We're almost through this. Let's just hope Magnum doesn't crash.
So, Matter Monkey has created a gorgeous solution that takes all the other cycles in area and throws them into the dumpster, but the cost is perfect. Yeah, I think running this without alt click would be the same speed for all those big rotates, because you can see it's taking seconds per cycle.
This is actually not breaking 100k. This is at 73k, almost 73k area. Yep.
I want to say really impressive work by Matter Monkey, who has been a consistent entrant in these puzzles, but I think doesn't often hit the minima, especially when it's like a really hard minimum. And this is a really notable solution from him.
It is. Yeah. So, big congratulations to Matter Monkey for finding 40 gold. 40 gold for this puzzle was not easy at all. And would you say this is easier or harder to find than the 17 area for week 1?
This is harder than 17 area week 1, I'm gonna say, pretty certainly.
Well,
I don't think 17 area week 1 was hard for someone who is really familiar with area, whereas this one is hard even for someone who's familiar with cost, because you have to manage input suppression, partial access, waste, and you have to be able to spot the fact that 40 gold is possible in the first place.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, congratulations again on finding 40 gold. And for that, you've obtained 7th place. And this scores above 9, which is very good. Yeah, if you managed to find 40 gold for this week, you ended up scoring at least 9 points for everyone who managed to do it. Because 40 gold ended up being the minimum, unfortunately going to 50 gold means that you just outright lose 1 metric score point, which is oof. We're finally over.
And yes, we've done it.
Coming up next, Neuchar.
Coming up next, as if we hadn't. Oh wait, Neuchar is another one that's like, I guess I don't have any experience with what Neuchar's skill level is in Opus Magnum, but I know that he's like pretty consistently good at space chem.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one actually doing it with all salt waste? Wow.
I think so.
Wow. It's doing it with all salt waste and it's a stick. That impresses me a lot.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Don't touch that dial.
And this one is hard-coded start to finish. So lucky,
Yes.
yeah, you don't have to alt-click again.
Yeah, all the other solutions that we were gonna be looking at are all hard coded to the end. This is so fast. Yeah, well, it's faster because the area is a lot less, so we're not waiting for the renderer all the time, and it's faster because yeah, no slideshow, and it's just also 4,000 cycles instead of 8,000.
I'm really impressed that they managed to get a shape going for connecting water to air that, yeah, it allows them to make this like teepee shape that breaks off a water air duplet on one side and 3 salt on the other. And the 3 salt in a line are just so easy to add to the already linear salt chain. This is well organized. This makes 40 gold almost look easier than I had thought it was. I'm sure it was also really hard to program, but like this approach seems more well suited to the puzzle than the one I took. My 40 gold's kind of nightmarish.
Yeah, well, congratulations. 6th place. Neuter. It was a very elegant solution.
Yeah, it's also a great find. How many cycles was that? 3, 6?
3676.
Nice.
Ginyu had a old solution that was 3674. But he comes up next anyway, at 3610.
I'm also noting the angle of the half-axis debonder on all of these solutions. And for all of them so far, the second access point of the debonder has been tilted. So like you go out from the arm and you tilt to the right or to the left. I haven't actually kept track of right versus left, and that is of importance because this is a chiral output. But the fact that the debonder is tilted is different from the status of my solution.
This is a very interesting salt waste chain.
Yeah, this is an opportunistic waste chain. It bonds whatever is convenient.
And of course it doesn't loop, so I kind of want to record this to see what happens with
like the end result of this waste chain.
Yeah.
Like I imagine there is an option while creating it to twist one more time at some point and make it straightened out to keep it from crashing back in. But not doing that twist saves cycles, so wherever you can, like while programming it, if you can optionally have a twist, just put it in on the loops that matter.
So far, none of these have been inaccessible bonder, I think. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, for all of these, it's been a half-axis debonder, and the second point on the debonder has been angled. The fact that the last thing you need to do with a half-axis bonder would be debond the product from the waste makes it difficult to imagine succeeding, but I can't promise. I didn't find one, but it might be the approach someone else took.
All right. Well, congratulations, Ginyu, on a very well-earned 5th place. Coming up next, Mr. Puzzle.
Oof. I know he wanted top 3.
Just missed it. That's okay.
2-stack stick, he says. Oh! This is a stick of a different length and color and type and whatever.
I think this is doing that thing that we've seen before in week 1 where you make one massive stick and you just start making your outputs like that.
Oh!
Yeah, so it's
I love
batched
this.
into 6.
It's
I'm very curious how
batched
you...
portable.
Yeah, I'm very curious how you debond this. I'm very curious to see.
How do you atoms you care about? What is going to happen? This is like, it's suspenseful watching this build an entire stick with no output progress. We've choked the game. It's starting to hurt.
Yeah, so this is at 3,527 cycles. So 3,527.
Wow, so my actual last minute cycle save mattered. I went from above that number to below it.
Yes, you did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did matter. Okay, so here's where it starts to,
Oh, it's pulling pieces off. Oh, wait.
Oh!
This is what 2 stacks meant. It's using the first stack to build the second stack. And this is stack in the computing sense. Like it's a register that you push and pop from. So this is like abstraction taken to a gorgeous extent. The first stick is used to provide the materials to build the second stick, and the second stick has the beautiful ordering of air, air, water, air, water, air, water, air, air, water, air, water, air, water. I enjoy this immensely.
Alright, we're at the end of that. Now let's take a look at, what happens next? What is going on?
It's just building a structure that moves this stack to the point where it can actually reach it. So now that that structure is built, it freely builds the output for free.
Huh.
Like, that structure thing was familiar from like wireforming and unforming when Shadow Cluster had to build this extraordinary structure to get things into position for the final process. But yeah, the second stack has the materials in the order where this is just an assembly puzzle now. Mr. Puzzle, I salute you for an incredible approach.
Indeed. Very, very, very cool. Congratulations on a very well-earned 4th place. Though unfortunately, Biggie Mac did steal 3rd place from you.
I had 3,600 something, and I got it down to 3,451. My inputs are in these 2 positions, and my debonder is in a line from the arm. Oh gosh, watching this just brings me to a point I don't want to, like, I've watched this too many times. Seeing it on stream is not bringing joy. But yeah, my waste is also kind of opportunistic, and it has a couple of non-salt atoms, because that gives it a shape that I can bond stuff to. So with this debonder placement, the water needs to go on in the specific way that it is right here, so that I can pivot it twice and end up on either side having something to grab. Which leads to it having this like prolonged sigma appearance on the waist.
Here, let's watch that right around here.
I mean, I gotta finish the bond first, otherwise once I break the water off, I remove the ability to have that salt.
Right. There we go.
Yep. And that's what I thought I needed that debonder position for. The ways that other people approach this seem to have found something I didn't. But this one's just kind of like a juggle, suppress waste, and do that water trick every time you need a water. Also, the waste is curving around, and by the 6th output, you'll be able to see it snake back around and encroach on the field in the other direction. I think the area never goes up after 4 products. In fact, I think 1372 is the final area, because at this point, it's curved around enough to where it never on new hexes with the stuff I'm adding.
That's not correct. Your area goes up to 2,264.
Oh, right, because the last one I have to make go straight. So it kept on again. It doesn't do that until 5 of 6.
Oh, there's the curve. Ooh.
Yep, you can see the little water tail happening there. These inputs in this position was a little awkward, actually, for suppression. The people who stacked them behind each other is... they probably had an easier time with suppression than I did. I got to suppress 2 specific points instead of having a lot of freedoms. But here we go, 3451.
Yep. Congratulations on a
The
very
area
well
score is way
earned.
smaller than
Sorry?
the area score is still pretty small compared to the ones around it.
Yes. Ginyu has a smaller area score of 1214, and that's the. He actually sent in a 1052 for. Yeah, I think that might have. Well, we never actually did gold area cycles, so it probably can go lower than 1052, but that was the lowest area that I have so far. So yeah, congratulations on a very well-earned third place.
Thank you. Now, who's left? We got Pentapig, but there's one other name.
We'll have to see. So, Pentapig is here.
Ah, so Pentapig's not even the winner.
We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, Pentapig has the angled half-access debonder, and the 2 inputs that are relatively positioned where you can suppress them with a stick in a lot of different angles. So yeah, this is a smart approach. I think now that I see it, it seems like this would be much easier to program than the one I made. I still think the most stylish approach was Mr. Puzzles by far, so far.
A mystery first place finisher. Indeed.
I mean, I know who it is because I've seen the spreadsheet. And it doesn't surprise me too much because I know their skills include stuff like this. But a lot of others might not know their name as much.
SGS did not submit for this week.
Yeah, we lost SGS, we lost Starfish, we lost...
yeah, we lost a lot of people. It's a little unfortunate.
I really like in Pentapig's solution how he bonds the waste where it can nestle up right next to the output and the input. Like, so many points, the waste is sitting there and it's like perfectly hugging the shape of the partial.
Yeah.
Like there, like there.
Very cool.
Yeah. At some point, Pentapig had said that yes, this was well compared to Wakefulness Potion, because Wakefulness Potion is another puzzle with a strange input to output ratio and with an awkward 40 gold minimum cost. And he had said, like, I will hold off on comparing the difficulties yet, because he didn't want to spoil whether or not this was an easy or hard 40 gold, or even whether it was possible necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was confident when he said stuff like that, like, yes, Pentapig has 40 gold. He's enjoyed making a 40 gold song.
All
How
right.
fast is it?
30-25. Yeah, and we'll see that you can actually cut this by over 1,000 cycles.
I really need to see how.
Indeed. We will get to that. Yeah. So congratulations, Pentapig, on a very well-earned second place. But first place goes to Winter 1703.
Half-access debonder. Sort of a stack approach. Oh wait, is this just
I think
one
this is
stack?
I think this is a big stick batched solution.
Yeah, but I'm curious how it is going to function because, like Matter Monkeys, you could see the pieces that were about to be pulled off, and on Mr. Puzzles, eventually you could see the approach, but I can't see this one yet. What's happening? How is it going to do it?
Well, we're already halfway through the solution.
We're still building the stick.
Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
It's that the way that the inputs are grabbed, and then when it rotates, when the arm rotates, it automatically debonds, and then he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to keep 2 bonds per atom that you use, because as you rotate and then pivot back, you break 2 bonds. So that makes the assembly a lot quicker. And in fact, you can keep 3 bonds because you leave the space open to bond one or to rotate one more time. That's so fast. 40
Yeah.
gold in under 2,000 cycles.
1981. Well, yes, very well done to Winter. This is first place by a very long shot. Yeah, no other 40 gold area. Sorry, no. No other 40 gold cost solution got anywhere near 2,000 cycles other than yours. Yeah, thank goodness secondaries don't affect metric points. Yeah, if it was Space Chem, it would have been something along the lines of cycles plus 0.1 times symbols or something. Um,
I love this just mentioned in the chat. We still have no repeat winners, and that's true. I haven't won this yet, and Winter hasn't won this yet. And now with week 3, we both have. So we have 6 individual players who have the 3 weeks of winning.
Indeed. Well, I guess it's time for me to start compiling these results together. So this is
the overall top scores.
Yes. So let me do that real quick. I have week 3. Score results. These up, and I'm going to start pasting them into the Google Drive right now. I'm probably not gonna stream this. You can watch on the Google Drive right now if you want to. But here we go. Week 3. Here. I'm just gonna copy this over because I want to keep the font. Week 3. CGA and week 3 GCA score. Gonna resize that. Control A, sort, range, sort by name. Okay. Week 3. CGA. Sort by name, A to Z. Okay, I'm going to copy all this over here, and I'm just going to insert it one by one. Or maybe not one by one. Alright. Anime, Bambi, Biggie Mac, Brother Mojo are all here. CGA. Here, let me use cut. Chickens in the Attic, Cold Spaghetti, Communist Mountain, Dariush. F. Cavalierne goes into here. Flame Haze I'll have to modify later because this is their first entry. Goodbye Galaxy, Guzumi, Hutobi, Ginyu, Jojo. Kirisaki Kyoko is by themselves. Kupioala is by themselves because Madmaster is a new entrant. Matter Monkey, Monster Racer are by themselves. Mr. Puzzle, Neutre, OMG's Abyss, Andrej K. Panic did not submit for this week. Penta Pig is up next. Rolomni, RPO, R-Titan, Sander S. SGS did not submit. Spect98 is here. Starfish did not submit. Steven did. Sharps did not.
Starfish not submitting, but he was so like unwilling to try to make good progress on this puzzle given how hard it looked. And like the first look when you're looking at this puzzle from a cycles is that it's just overwhelming. So it's regrettable, but it took a lot of time staring at it to find out like, oh wait, there's a way that you can get 20 that isn't the worst thing in the world.
Insert row. Cut, paste, flame haze. Cut, paste, cut, paste. Madmaster. Insert row. Cut, paste, cut, paste. Brother Mojo is misplaced. Oh, it is. Thank you. Thank you for catching that. Alright, is there anyone else who I've misplaced or anything? I don't think so.
You've only put in the CG for now, right?
Yes. That's CGA. GCA. Sort. Custom sort. Name. A to Z. Anime. Copy. Paste. Brother Mojo, chickens in the attic, cold spaghetti, Communist Mountain, Dariush. Kurisaki Kyoko, Kupioala, Madmaster, Matter Monkey, Monster Racer. And then Mr. Puzzle, Nuture, Jeeves Abyss, Andrich K. Pentapig, Rolomni, RPO, R-Titan, Sander S. Spec98, Steven, Topomouse, Tweedledee, username Void, Voidify, Winter. That one gets a bold for 10 out of 10 score. Biggie Mac gets a bold for 10 out of 10 score. All this gets deleted. And then Control A. Why does it do this? I guess I have to select this. Sort range by total score. Z to A. Oh, that didn't work correctly. But
it shows me at the front of the pack. That was my gasp.
It didn't sort correctly because Madmaster and Flame Haze did not 6 point that. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's sort that again. Winter followed me. Thank you, Winter. Sort range. Set to A. Data has header row. Total score. There we go.
Like fix the decimal place width on the 2 new columns, but
Oh yeah. Or else Starfish is gonna nag me for it.
oh boy, I'm in the lead going into the production week and I don't have production.
Format. There was something here. Oh yeah. This thing 0.000. There we go. All right. So in this case, let's go over top 10. Top 10. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right here. I think. Yes. All right. 10th place. OMG, it's a Beast at 43.921 points. 9th place. Goodbye Galaxy at 44.591 points. 8th place. JoJo at 44.817 points. 7th place. Brother Mojo at 47.205 points. Pardon?
Mojo Jojo, still neighbors.
All right, 6th place, Matter Monkey at 48.587 points. 5th place, Rolomni at 50.318 points. 4th place is Mr. Puzzle at 52.441 points. And our top 3, Pentapig at 54.738 points, Ginyu at 54.987 points, and Biggie Mac at first place with 55.205 points.
It's a nice little cluster of terrifying names. I don't want to have to defend myself against them.
Yeah, 2 players are really close to 10th place, and that is Winter1703 and Neuter. And then there's Tweedledee, and then from there it's Bambi at 39 points. Just as a quick summary, this is the end of week 3 results. Because every week is worth 20 points max. Sorry?
Are there non-scoring solutions going to make the video, or is that
too
long?
Let me take a look. I think there might be a couple showcase. Yes. Rolomni sent in one showcase solution, and that is this. I've not actually seen this.
Oh, it's a 3i solution?
I think so. Yeah. It's a 3i solution. This is actually pretty this is pretty fast.
Compact.
Yeah. This is pretty fast for a 3i solution.
Oh, it makes sense. You can put them in the grab points like this, and it just directly makes the output shape.
So yeah, while this is running in the background, I'm just gonna extend a big thank you for everyone who's watching the stream, and everyone who's watching for the, what is it called, video on demand. Announcements. Week 4 is already out. It is the production puzzle for this tournament, and yes, I just spoiled the fact that there will only be one production puzzle for this tournament.
I mean, that's sad, but also...
So yeah, production puzzle is that, and then week 5 will be released in 3 days, if I recall correctly.
3 days plus 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Week 5, it's supposed to be easy. I think it's easy. But
is it titled The Calm Before the Storm, like you said?
The title is actually going to be Calm Before the Storm, yes.
All right.
Yeah. There is some story. There's some story stuff that makes it called that justifies the name Calm Before the Storm. I can't spoil week 6 because I'm sorry. I can't say too much about week 5 or else I'll spoil week 6. So yeah. Yeah, easy. Yeah, I apologize for week 3. I really should have spent more time seeing how terrible week 3 gold cycles was, and I really should have gone with area cycles or area gold instead. It was originally actually this puzzle before week 1 dropped. I actually had this as week 2, and and Panacea to Poison as week 3, and originally it was going to be an area solution, but I made a last minute change there because I felt that Panacea to Poison was going to be a really good introduction to kind of just height optimization and some other things. So yeah, week 3 and week 2 were swapped before week 1 happened, and I didn't want there to be like another area solution right back to back with week 2, and I guess week 1. So that's why it got switched from area, and that was a big mistake. Sorry about that. Week 4 is a production puzzle, and the metrics are instructions and cycles. Sometimes they're kind of close together, sometimes they're not. But yeah, I'm trying to make week 5 back to easy to solve, hard to solve well. Actually, week 5 is, I'm not entirely sure because I haven't done enough of week 5 to actually be able to tell if week 5 is going to be hard to solve well, but it should be easier. It's definitely easier than this nonsense for GC.
I'll let you know what I feel in DMs within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
You can trust that much.
All right. In that case, again, thanks for watching, and this has been another 2.5 hour stream. And yeah. I will see all of you next week, provided nothing crazy happens, like I die or something.
Please don't. Stay safe. It's a hard world out there.
All right.
Take care. Thanks for the stream.
Yep. Thank you again, Biggie Mac, for coming on to comment. And thanks everyone for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.